The purpose of this module is to give you a basic understanding about creating animation in Animate CC. This module covers the following topics: creating symbol, understanding the timeline, creating animation, frame-by-frame animation, motion tweening, shape tweening. You have learned about a few of the Animate CC drawing tools in the previous chapter. In this chapter, you will learn how to create a simple animation with symbols, timelines, and frames. An animation, or a movie, is a collection of images which, when shown in quick succession, produces a feeling of motion in the elements of the images. A frame is the basic unit of any animation on which pictures or symbols are placed. The picture on each successive frame is slightly different from the previous one. When the frames are displayed rapidly, a feeling of motion is produced. A timeline helps control and organize frames. A symbol is a graphic image, animation, or button that is stored along with the movie. It can be inserted in the movie as many times as you want. That is, symbols are reusable graphics. An instance of a symbol is an occurrence of a symbol on the stage. Each time you insert a symbol on a stage, you create an instance of that symbol. Animate CC stores symbols in folders called libraries. The use of symbols helps to keep the file size small, as a particular symbol is stored only once, even if it is used many times in the movie. Converting a drawing into a symbol. The steps to convert an existing drawing into a symbol are: click the selection tool. Draw a selection area around the object which you want to convert into symbol on the stage. Select Modify and then Convert to Symbol. The Convert to Symbol dialog box appears. Type a name for the symbol. The default name is Symbol 1. Type of symbol can be a movie clip, a button, or a graphic. Choose Graphic. Click OK. The symbol now gets added to the library panel. To insert an instance of the symbol in the movie, you can follow these steps. Select Window Library to open the library panel. You will see the symbol you just created. Click and drag it onto the stage. This inserts one instance of the symbol in the animation. Use the same process to get multiple instances of the symbol on the stage. You can resize, rotate, or move a particular instance without affecting the others. Before creating an animation, you should be familiar with the timeline window. The timeline is the area where you work with frames to organize and control the content and animation of your movie. The main components of the timeline window are shown. The red rectangle joined with a vertical line is called the playhead. It indicates the current frame on the stage and the current status of the movie. As the movie plays, the playhead moves from left to right through the timeline. The frame rate shows the number of frames per second that your animation will play. Frames and keyframes. Frames contain the content of the movie. This content is displayed one frame at a time while you play the movie. Frames are represented as a series of vertical rectangles in the timeline. Every fifth frame has a light gray fill and is marked with a frame number, which is written at the top of the timeline. The frames having black dots as shown in figure represent keyframes. A keyframe is a critical point in the animation where some change in objects or actions takes place. For example, an object may appear or disappear on the stage, an object may start or stop moving, or an object may fade in or fade out. At the bottom of the timeline window, you can see 3 numbers. The leftmost number represents the current frame. In the timeline shown here, the 15th frame is the current frame. The next number represents the frame rate, that is, the number of frames per second that the movie is playing. In the timeline shown here, the frame rate is 24 PFS, that is, the movie is playing at 24 frames per second. The third number represents the time elapsed. The timeline given here shows that the movie has already played for 0.6 seconds. Inserting a frame or keyframe or a blank keyframe. The steps to insert a frame or keyframe or blank keyframe are: in the timeline window, click on a rectangular placeholder where you want to insert a frame or a keyframe. Select Insert, then Timeline, and then Frame. Or select Insert, then Timeline, and then Keyframe. Or select Insert, then Timeline, and then Blank Keyframe. Deleting a frame. The steps to delete a frame are: select the frame to be deleted in the timeline. Right-click and select Remove Frames from the shortcut menu. Animate CC offers different ways of creating an animation. Here, you will learn about the following 2 animation methods: frame-by-frame animation, tweening animation, motion tweening, and shape tweening. In a frame-by-frame animation, you can change the contents of each frame manually. Let us consider an example to understand it. Select the oval tool in the Tools panel. Select a stroke color and a fill color. Click on the stage and draw a circle. Click on the second frame in the timeline window. Insert a keyframe by selecting Insert, Timeline, Keyframe, or by pressing F6. Click on the stage and move the circle slightly to the right. Add 10 more keyframes and shift the circle to the right in each frame. You can also change the color of the circle in each frame. Your movie is ready. To play the movie, click on the first frame in the timeline window. Select Control Play. Tweening makes creating an animation very easy. In tweened animations, you only specify the first and the last keyframes. Animate CC automatically fills in the suitable frames between the 2 keyframes. In motion tweening, you specify the initial and the end positions of an object. Animate CC fills the frames in between to make the object move between the 2 positions. Before you implement motion tween on an object, you have to convert the object into a symbol. Let us create an animation to understand tweening. Draw the picture of a rat on the bottom right corner of the stage in frame 1. Convert the rat into a symbol. Name the symbol as rat. You will see a blue square appearing around the graphic. Select frame number 40 in the timeline window and insert a keyframe by pressing F6 or by selecting Insert, Timeline, Keyframe. Notice that all frames from 2 to 39 are now gray in color. Frame 40 has a gray fill with a black dot, indicating that it is a key frame. Select frame 40. Select the rat and move it to the bottom left corner of the stage. Select any frame between 1 and 40. With the cursor placed in the gray area, select Insert Create Classic Tween in the Insert menu. Notice the change in the timeline window. A light purple color with a solid arrow appears between the two key frames. Play the movie. You will see the rat move from the initial position to the final position on the stage. Shape tweening makes a drawing change into another drawing. Shape tweening does not work on symbols, so do not convert the drawing object into a symbol when you want to use shape tweening. Let us create an animation to understand shape tweening. Select the first frame and draw an object. For example, as shown here, select frame 40 in the timeline window and insert a keyframe. While still on frame 40, select the drawing object and delete it. Draw a different object, say a polygon. Or use the selection tool to reshape the lines and change the shape of the object. Click any frame between 1 and 40. Select Create Shape Tween from Insert menu. A light green color with a solid arrow appears between frames 1 and 40. Also note that the drawing that appears on the stage is a mix of the two shapes. Play the movie. You will see the first picture changing into the second picture.